Hello.
Hi.
As per usual, we are very, very organized.
We've got this, man. So got this.
We are talking about Queen of Shadows. Yours is a lot shinier. Look at how worn mine is. Look at how
I mean,
worn mine is.
I would like to point out that I audiobooked it, as always, so I only moved the bookmark through these books.
Mine is so like dead. Um,
Look at
so
that.
we're
like,
nice and so. So we're going to have one second. I'm just gonna say hello. I'm very
hello.
excited to see you.
I haven't, as
Hello.
normal, I haven't pulled up comments so that I don't spoil.
Yes.
So this way,
Um,
at least if something is said, Smash will stop it.
as per usual, we are talking about all of the books prior to this.
To this.
Any after this or in any other series, we're not tolerating that shit.
Not yet. We've
Not
got
yet.
this whole year. You get me and Smash one night a month, but this whole year you just need the
Apart from
right
next
the
month.
right series.
Apart from
Yeah,
next month.
yeah, because I need to double. I need to tandem,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be fun.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah,
Me and Brooke were talking about it, and she was like, "Just please remember that if it becomes too much of a struggle, you don't have to do it." And I was like, "I will remember that."
yeah. They're
But
both on my TBR for next month because fantastically, just side thing. There's this thing called Series TBR up on next month, and they
oh,
both fit. Imagine that.
hey,
So they're both on there, and again, I'm gonna start. But if I get sucked into one book or the other and I keep reading, no stress.
that is very very fair. Um, Hardback again, nice. I don't want to touch my hardbacks yet because they're my hardbacks, and I don't want them. Also, I have a lot of these that are like, you know, I'm not going to say it
Signed.
because everyone keeps on thinking that I'm mean. This one
No,
is
I
not.
am so jealous. That's all.
This
Like,
this one is not. This one's just a basic ass like paperback. So like,
oh, is this not your favorite one as well?
no, that was Airfire. This
Oh,
is one of
okay,
my
that's
least
fine.
favorite ones, and I will explain why when we get into it.
To be fair, I have a feeling it's going to be very much like Schwab, where I end up with a lot of 5 stars that I could probably go, well, this thing happened, or this character had more time,
Oh yeah,
so I'll take that over that, but it's not for anything like major.
yeah. Fight people for if they
Yeah.
spoil. Um, we know we love you. Um, yeah, that's very fair. I'm sorry. I tried not to. Tori was the one who said
I
it.
did it. I'm
Um,
jealous, okay? I'm allowed. We are allowed. I have a whole shelf of Maria that's signed. Like, if I'm allowed to flaunt it as much as I do, then you're allowed to flaunt your signed Synergy Mass.
I would love a signed Maria. I'm not gonna lie, but anyway,
I mean, I can fix that for you.
you could.
Tell me which book you want and I'll fix it.
I'll send you. Give me your address and I'll send you and remind me when I need to, and I'll send you a book up.
I can sort this.
Yes.
Literally, I can sort this.
um. So rating. I know what it's gonna be. It's a 5.
I,
Yeah.
I finished it with a good few hours, to be fair. I panicked because I had it in my head as the ninth, but I had it in my head that the ninth was tomorrow
Tomorrow.
because we were meeting my dad. Yeah, I basically got the dates wrong. I had the ninth, but I had the wrong day in my head. It's fine. I
Yeah.
then got pulled into doing stuff with, the room looking slightly different at the weekend. So yesterday I got home from work and basically just lay in bed and listened to it for the whole
Yeah.
night. It was great.
I, I was like, I'm pretty sure because and as well, I had edited my TBR, and I was like, I'd specifically put, I will let you know down below when the thing is if you want to hear my thoughts on this. So I knew it was today. So I was like, Tori, we are doing it tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Help.
No, it's fine. I had started it. If I hadn't started it, we might have been a bit more screwed. But I had, so it was fine.
Yeah. And I feel
It,
like
I just got to
when this
binge it, which isn't a bad thing because
I feel like when this one starts going, it like doesn't stop.
I said in our chat, and I think it was actually the one with back on Emma. I was like, guys, it doesn't let me breathe.
No.
Like, it literally is just chapter after chapter after POV of something happening. And I was like, okay, because you know at that point when you're always like, okay, one more chapter and then I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah.
And like with Cassie Clare, I figured out that going to bed in the middle of a chapter is a good point because the end of the chapters are normally cliffhangers, but the middle of a chapter is a POV change. So
Yeah.
like with Cassie, you find a POV change that's okay and you call it quits. Like you cannot deviate from that because then the chapters are bad. But with this, there isn't really that swap in the middle of a chapter,
No.
and each chapter is different. So I was like, I got to what was it about 12:30 last night, and I had 70 pages or 60 something pages to go, and I was like, I want to stay up, but if I do, I'm not getting to bed until like 2 o'clock, and I need to be up for work, and I did not want to go to bed,
Yeah. Um,
especially that close
Also,
to the end.
I would like to present my mug. It says, "Is there a reason you're smiling at me, or shall I interpret it as a death wish?" Which is one of the best quotes from this book. And
I'm looking it on.
I bought this because I was starting to work at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I should probably get a mug to be like this. Read the mug and piss off. And then I don't drink coffee, so there was no point in it. But it's still a cool mug.
You could still hold the mug up when you can't say anything.
Yeah, that's true. Um,
Love
but
that.
yeah, so let's talk about this. So I feel like I'm very controversial in my opinion that this is my least favorite book. Um,
I mean, I haven't read all of them,
yeah,
so it
but
may change as we go.
so this is but this is why I think my comment is controversial. I almost DNF the series from this book.
Yeah, okay.
So just to explain a little bit, um, and it is one of the I have a few notes. I don't have a million because that's one of the issues. But the interaction, and so one of it is page 55. The interaction between Aelin and Kale in this chapter is one of the main reasons I have issues with this book. And essentially, what it is yeah. Sorry, Emma. Sorry. Um, my main issue with this book is the two of them have trauma, and neither of them are willing to like acknowledge that the other's trauma is valid.
Yeah.
She turns around and says like, "Oh, it's your fault that Dorian got caught. You should have done something. Why did you let this happen?" And it's like, dude, you were not there. You cannot know. And then he's like, "You were off with your fairy prince. Like, what the fuck were you doing? This, that, and the other." And I'm like, dude, you were there. You weren't there. You do not know. And the rage I had from the fact they wouldn't just sit down and fucking listen to each other. They told
Yeah.
each other everything, and neither of them would listen. And I fucking hate it. I mostly hate Kale in this way, but that's because Aelin can do no wrong. And I will not be but the first time I read this book, I was starting to like I was starting to like slump a little bit in my reading because I did slump for a few years after uni because I went from reading for my like uni thing, and then I went from that to like just burning out in reading for obvious reasons.
Yep.
Because like I did like 4 years. Well, I did 4 years at uni doing English. I did 3 years English and creative writing and 1 year at like master's degree English studies. So like my brain was just like, I don't want to read like this, that, and the other. So I didn't. So
Yeah.
it took me a
Fair.
while. So that happened, and there was a few things that kind of kept me going, but then I put my book down for ages, and me and my friend were reading it at the time, and apparently she actually like messaged my friend Tasha who'd not read the books, and was like, if she just reads, she'll get the bit she needs. Just get her to read it. Because I was bitching and moaning because Rowan wasn't in it.
Yep.
Um,
I
and
literally messaged you in block capitals when he turned up.
And then I was like, they just need to like be together and this, that, the other, and like and apparently like, and I was like, what was even funnier was like he appeared and I was like, they can't like someone had there was a theory that had convinced me that they couldn't be romantic. And I was convinced that my ship was not going to be real. And I
Oh
was
no.
so convinced and I was so upset. So I kept on like putting off reading it. And she messaged Tasha and she was like, she needs to just keep on reading because what she wants to happen is going to happen. Spoilers if you've not read it, but if you've not read it and you're here, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah, you shouldn't
Um,
be here.
but yeah, so this took me a lot, and I think because of the miscommunication at the start, Ron being absent for far too long, and then all of the action kind of happening very much at the end. This book is my least favorite. Don't get me wrong, I still absolutely fucking adore this book. And I still have one Sarah J. Maas book that I actually hate more than this, and that is not in this series. But I do think that this is my least favorite of the series. There are a few moments in this that I'm hyped to talk about because it's there's some beautiful moments in this book, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah, I can understand all of that. Because when they were talking and when they did meet again, I do remember thinking, not that they were being childish, because they both had fucking valid trauma and they both had shit happen on the back of, what happened to both of them. Like, Aelin having massive fights in it literally being life or death, and her ending up using her fire because she's trained with it. Why would she not? Like, she thought she was going to die then. But Kale is like, oh, just been off with your fairy prince and this, that, and the next thing. And then why would they burn down anything with fire? Like, of course, it's retribution to you.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, yeah, but also they're using my cousin to get me back here. Like, we are aware of the fact that he's trying to lure me back. Of course, all of this is like aimed at me.
And
Like,
as
it couldn't.
well, like, and I think the thing is, like, it's really, really frustrating because, like, she's doing the shit that he kind of wants her to do. She's just
Yeah,
not doing it how he wants it, which, like, fuck a man who tries to do that because ew, no.
yep,
But yeah, it's really difficult, and I like us, and I do remember like every single time. I mean, every single time I read it now, but like I do specifically remember when I first read it, sitting there and just being like, just listen, and like especially Kale, because yeah, Aelin is bae. Aelin is
yep,
bae. Um, I and I think because like I like Aelin is my one of my favorite characters in in this series.
yeah.
I think, like I've
I
said,
do think.
there are multiple
Sorry.
times I've read this series, and I can say this now. I've just followed my ship, and I
Yep.
just read Aelin's parts, and I read Aelin's parts from Air of Fire for some reason.
Wonder why.
And I've literally skipped other chapters because I don't care. That's the only part that I care about. And
Fair.
I think that's one of the things, like, and don't get me wrong, I don't do it very often. I've only done that type of reread once, but it was the one of the best rereads I've ever done.
I
And I
love
got
that
through
for you.
those books mega quickly because I
Well,
missed out on
yeah.
a book ton of it.
Well, that's
Um,
fair.
but yeah, I'm just gonna go through comments. Kayla and Ellen frustrated me so much because you're right. They just pit each against each other, but suffered just as much equally as much. I don't think it helps that we have the whole like Arabin is literally pitting each other against each other. She knows that, but fucking Kale can't get it through his thick fucking skull. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a Kale hater. I do like Kale as a character. I think that his growth, especially in this one, is fantastic, and I am more than willing to admit that. But he's a
Him and Aelin
self-righteous,
definitely not.
yeah, and he's a
They
self-righteous
clash far too
prick.
much.
And he doesn't fucking use his brain. He does not use his brain. Um,
I feel like they're also both so high up their own perspective food chains, and because she isn't his queen, like it's very much Dorian is his king. He doesn't listen to her in that way, where the boys do.
yeah,
The
and I
boys,
think,
they're both fucking, fake kings or whatever in their own right. But you know what I mean? Like, she says stop, they stop. She says
I
stop to
also
Kale,
think,
and Kale goes, why should I?
but even then they don't always, like, Rowan is constantly like, he will heal when he needs to. I don't mean heal like
I know what you mean.
derogatorily, but like he like he will do it, but like at the same time, he says like, this is what I think we should do, and this is what I think we should do.
Yeah, she listens to them because they listen to her though. Where
And
I think
Adian
him
literally,
and Kale do.
yeah.
They just
And I feel
consistently.
as if like like there are valid reasons why Kale is so like he's gonna ignore everything and stuff like that. Like I do totally understand that. But like I just think if they just fucking shut up.
I also feel so that because that was the first time that they'd seen each other really since everything had happened. And yes, they'd been apart for a bit because obviously Air of Fire they were apart. But so much shit had happened to both of them that I don't think they actually had time to process everything.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
Aelin still goes on about Nehemia and that she can't forgive him for Nehemia, but she understands now a bit better. And
Yeah,
like we all understand that come this book, they've all done stuff and shit has happened as a backlash of that they never planned for.
yeah.
Like there's so much shit that happens that they just couldn't have foreseen, that I do believe by the end of it they've kind of got a bit better at not
Oh,
only
yeah,
understanding and talking, but actually understanding why they both did what they did.
I think so as
But at the
well. And I
start,
think
I think they just were too angry and pissed off and sad and upset and tired to even
I
begin
think
to listen.
I totally agree with you in certain aspects. I also think that with Kale, I think that if he had not seen Dorian and realized how far gone Dorian was, I don't think he would have ever admitted that he was wrong. I think he had
Probably
to
not.
see that. I think he had to see that with his own eyes because obviously she was like, "This is the
I've been
facts.
fighting them.
Like,
Yeah.
I know how this happens. That he's gone." And Kale was like, "No, I don't accept that." And it's like, dude, like, and I understand that to some extent. Like, he didn't see that, but the fact that like he just was like, I'm not taking any of you like, and like I'm not taking anything that you say word for word. Like I'm going to like completely fight you on this, like this and the other. And I totally understand like not wanting to admit something because like it, we've all been there. We've all been there where we've had hard issues and we don't want to admit that they're real. But I just think that like I don't think he would have, unless something drastic had happened. I don't
Yeah.
think, because if you think about it, he does not actually see Dorian until like quite late in the
That
book.
yeah, when they're literally in the clearing.
Yeah, because like he's not there at the party. He's not there like later on, so he never gets to see Dorian and get to see the the darkness behind Dorian.
Yeah, I am very glad that they didn't stop fighting for him though.
Yeah,
I would like to point that fact out. I know that we'll come back to Dorian later, but
yeah. I'm gonna
oh baby,
speak through these
baby.
comments because we have a fuck ton.
Okay.
um,
This is the bad thing with me not seeing them. Apologies. Just tell me to shut up.
no, it's fine. Crown of Midnight is still my least favorite, but this one is next. Fair enough. Aelin is bait. Oh, I would still say it goes Throne of Glass, then Crown of Midnight for me. Fair enough. Fair reason to be annoyed. Rowan is life. Rowan is my prince. Adian and Aelin. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that because that is one of the best parts in this book. Kale is in this book is a walking contradiction. I am a Kale hater. He's like I know, but like just yeah. Um Amen.
I will say, Sarah managed to convey that really well. The fact that they weren't listening. Like, I feel like me getting frustrated at a book or me getting emotional at a book or me getting angry or laughing, etc., just proves that I love the author's writing.
Yeah,
So although I was frustrated with it because I've been in that conversations where people will just butt heads and not listen, and I'm like, oh my god, would one of you just shut the fuck up? The fact that a book makes me do it rather than like a movie where I see it, because I don't see books in my head.
yeah,
So if books manage to do that for me, I'm like, oh, we're on to a winner here. So the fact that 850 pages in, I'm sitting there frustrated, actually a really good thing for me.
yeah, yeah. And that's one of the things I've always said. Like, if I get frustrated at a character in a book, in the sense of like what they're doing, I'm really, really happy with that. If I get frustrated with a book because it's not delivering what I want from it, that's another
That's
matter.
another matter. Oh, snap.
Rowan has moments where he's angry at Aelin, but treats her human. Kale treats her like a monster when he's angry. Yeah, 100%. He literally says that she's a monster to her, and like It's I think I think one, and actually I've kind of, you've perfectly said exactly what I'm thinking, and but I think now I can kind of verbalize it. I think that's one of the reasons I side so much with Aelin over Kale, and it's not just because she's my favorite. It's because we've just seen her heal so much from being such a broken thing in Air of Fire, and then we get this where she's come
Right
back
at the start.
and she's and she's proud and she's ready to become the person she needs to fucking be, and we're like, get in there, lass, to go a bit northern on you. But he then pulls her down and tries to break her again. And it's like, she's just done all of this work on herself, and now you're trying to fuck her back over.
And she's come back
Absolutely.
like she said she would to help
Yeah.
you and get Dorian. Like,
And
what the fuck?
literally, here's the thing as well, right? Okay, we're good. Actually, I could. This is the reason that I get so angry at this book. Like, don't get me wrong, I still really enjoy it. It's still my favorite series, and I didn't stop reading the books. But this is the reason this is Ashley's favorite, like least favorite book. Um, he literally sends her to Wendlin with no fucking plan. He does not tell her he's sending her to Wendlin. He bargains with his father and says, "This is what we should do." And then the king goes, "Yes, that's a good idea. Let's send her." So she's forced to fuck off with no idea. He doesn't know what she is. He doesn't know anything about her. He finds out as she's leaving or just after she's gone. And then he's like, "Oh, well, why didn't you do the things and get the army?" I'm sorry, was there supposed to be a plan? Did you give me a plan, or did you just tell me to fuck off? Kale, get your shit together. Find out what you want from life, and communicate it like a human fucking being.
He did seem to get better at communicating, as long as it's not with Aelin. A
I
little
wouldn't
bit.
even go that far.
A little bit.
I
I don't
look,
even know what her name is when it's not said.
Nesrin.
Nesrin. Thank you.
Um, I like Kale. I think Kale is a great character. I think he's got great character development, and I really, really enjoy his character. And I'm sorry, Becca, I'm going to say this. Tower of Dawn is one of my favorite books from this series as well. However, I just don't like him in this book, and I think that he needs a good fucking shake
I feel like the
in
beating
a
he
bag of
just
rocks.
took will have helped.
Yeah, I think he needs a good shake in a bag of rocks. I think that's why I've struggled with Kale throughout, though. He won't ever admit he doesn't know all till well after the shit goes down. Yeah. And I think, don't get me wrong, we said on these lives many a time, he is a naive person. He's a naive character, and it kind of doesn't show until later on. I just he frustrates the living daylights out of me, that bloke. He's just, yeah. Yeah.
A bloke
Yeah.
with power.
Yeah. And also, like, not even just like power in the sense of like he's like in a position of power, but in like he's power in the fact that he can turn a blind eye to a lot of the horrible shit that's being done. And yeah, I don't want this just to be a Ashley bitches about this one character, because there is things I have notes, but I could do a fucking video essay on why Kale's a
Kale.
piece of shit in this one.
I mean,
Um,
feel free to send me all the voice notes later. I will listen to them all.
You'll just see a video on my channel where it's the meme, the guy with the like all of the red like yarn just being like, "This is it."
I expect that after we finish the last book, so that you can pull everything together on all the shit
Maybe,
he's done.
maybe.
Spoiler:
Um,
Kale is a dick. There you go. Here's your Tyler. Here's your title.
the fact as well, he goes, he has a go about her burning the Volg and Wendelin, and she says, and says, saying she's flouncing about doing nothing while he's fighting a war, like, bruh, yeah, like, and it's just so frustrating because like he hears, "Oh, I trained and I learned this and I got discipline," and he's like, you fucked about. It's like, no, she didn't. Well, she did, but
That
she
whole
found out as well. Like,
yeah,
and everyone found out because she fucking like.
Set everything
And,
on
like, and
fire.
don't get me wrong, I know it's because we've read both their sides of the story, and we both know how hard both of them have had it, and they don't have that context, they just have their own feelings. But my God, just talk. Just
Yeah,
talk. Communication,
it is
guys,
very much miscommunication trope
but
for
in the
like
bad way.
that bit.
In the bad way, and it continues, and, like, and then Arabin, like, is like, "Oh, I'm gonna do all this shit," and, "Oh,
I love
don't."
that literally the first line here, after me saying up until here, the first line I can read is lying to Adian about the blood oath was awful. And I'm like, oh look, there's more miscommunication, page 224.
Look, Aelin is not a perfect character, but she's perfect.
Oh, we love Aelin. Like, I don't know how I would have broken it to my long lost cousin that I thought was working on the opposite side that I'd done it either. Like, there's so, I mean, I know they have that conversation, and I know he's pissed, and then she's like, I thought you were like completely like against me, like you could have been dead, the whole thing.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm going through these comments very, very quickly, and then we can get on
Okay.
to we're gonna get on to my favorite cousins. Not my literal favorite cousins, because they're not my actual cousins,
I
but
mean,
and
we
I
wish.
love my cousins very, very dearly. But my favorite, like, bookish cousins. So yeah, Nezrin switched as well. And, like, yeah, I think this is the thing. If you've got a character who is completely neutral and she turns around and goes, I think that you're a bit wrong. And she's, like, neutral to her side, and she has, like, bias towards you, maybe sort your shit out, mate. Um, I will say I really enjoyed how where are you going? I will say I really enjoyed Tower of Dawn, and the writing was amazing. Um,
Same.
I might do it one day. I might do it one day. Okay, so Aelin and Adian. First
I love
off,
them together so much.
Adian. We're gonna tease that first, because, like, let's be real, he spends a lot of time in the dungeon, and it's very sad because we know that he tried to, like, mm, I might if I've got the spoons. Um, like,
Fair.
I think a lot of sorry, I've just remembered there is this at the time that I actually wrote a full fucking essay on two of the characters in the Akatar books, which I cannot talk about on live because spoilers. But Becca and Emma, if you're willing to hear my conversation about internalized misogyny in the Sarah J. Maas fandom, I will have a conversation about it with you. Because that was a full fucking thing I did. Yeah, Adian. So Adian, in the first bit, when you realize that he is, like, ill, and he is like,
He was
yeah,
trying to like kill himself so the king
yeah,
wouldn't have the ability.
like, I it
The
hurts
fact
so
that
much.
he like hid the wound and then managed to like
Yeah,
hide the fact he wasn't moving and hide the fact he wasn't eating or drinking, and it all just happened to hinge on one person smelling that he was it smelling that he was ill?
yeah, it
Sure, it
was
was
Dorian.
smelling.
It was the
Um,
dog and Dorian smelling that
yeah,
he would.
the fact that oh, my heart, I was like, that was the first time I almost cried. I didn't. P.S. Back, I didn't cry at the book. I'll
Yeah,
put
but you
that out
don't
there.
cry at
I don't
books.
cry, generally speaking, no. But I did get very teary when Adian was hurt and he was almost dead, and then Dorian saved him. I don't think saved is a good word to use right now, but also he didn't die because of Dorian, so I don't know what better word is to use there.
Yeah, sorry, I was messaging them about the what I had done the essay on, and I just kind of
Okay.
realized I just gave them names, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. This is what the essay was based on, but I will explain it later. Like, yeah, that was something
While
that
you
happened.
remembered, it's fine.
Yeah. Um.
Um, but yeah, um, yeah,
Yeah. I
literally this, and then them both. I love the fact that they're always like, "So tell me," and it's really weird. Sarah J. Maas seems to like the phrase um, so tell me, and then they did, or tell me everything, and then I did. Like it
I think
happened quite quite a lot in this book, and I was like, okay, cool.
I think it's because this book was so big that she kind of couldn't just
Well, the thing is, she wouldn't
include.
have really said stuff that we knew about anyway. But
Yeah,
I like the fact it was like, and she did. She told him about, and then just was like, list, 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 and I was like, oh yeah, shit, a lot of fuck happened. A lot of
yeah.
shit happened when you weren't there. Um,
I
but yeah, I love them together. The first chapter when they were back together and they were both lying in the same bed just talking, I was like, oh, I do that with my cousins all the time.
I love that. But my favorite scene in this entire book, ever, is when they are comparing scars. Um, just the fact that they've had an argument and both of them are like, I don't know what to do. I've not had to deal with this type of like I like it's a shift in dynamic. She's now queen. He like obviously they always knew that she was potentially going to be queen, but like well no, they always knew she would be queen, but like there was a shift in dynamic because she's been living this life for many years now and he's been living a completely different life and they've both been traitors to the world they know and then like the the bond happens and obviously he's not happy which he is totally valid and entitled to that um and
And
she
she's
handles
valid
it
for why she didn't keep that spot
exactly
for him because
100%. And I
did not
think
know.
yeah it's one of those things of like it's so
I also
difficult to like figure that out and just for them to have this little quiet moment where they come back together and they go right, do you understand why I'm upset? Yes. Do you understand why I had to do it? Yes. Okay, cool. Um, and then when he's like, I just feel like I've missed so much of your life, and then she starts being like, these are my scars, and he's like, these are my scars, and just that little back and forth of like them getting to know each other through their pain. I'm not gonna cry, but I'm gonna cry. I just,
I
it
just
is,
love them. I love
it's
them
so
together.
yeah, and it's so natural, and it doesn't come off as if like it's such a beautifully done scene because I feel like as if it's something that you could see happening from people who have gone through trauma
Oh god, yeah.
separately, and they just kind of go, this is what I did, and this is what I did, and yeah,
Yeah. I feel that.
yeah, 100%. Can't we also talk about Big Gob Rowan? Right, Rowan was swinging his dick around a lot in this book. Like this dude was
I
like,
love
I
the
am
fact as well. He was like, "She's mine, back off," and it's her cousin. Like it's not even like it's with Kale, who could have any interest. It's with her cousin. And I was like, it was like the two of them were like, I can be a better protector than you. I've known her longer. I am older than you. Grr, hear me roar. No,
I
I can out. I loved them so
it's not
much.
even just with Adian. It's the fact that like when Arabin does the fucking like the almond oil and he's like, my hands were dry, and it's like big fucking swing about your dick.
I love that. And literally, she's like, oh, so it's not just me I can smell it on.
Like, bravo. He's great.
I
I
just love it.
look, he might have a big gob and he might not do everything the right way, but let's be real, none of these fucking
Can
characters
I just
do.
mention this dress
Yeah.
and how much it made him speechless? It was great. I know we're not talking
Mm,
about that right now, but we talked
wasn't the
about the
only dress
oil,
that made him
and that
speechless.
was mm?
Wasn't the only dress that made him
No,
speechless.
there was a lot of them, especially the gold one. Um,
What how to put on a show.
I just love it so much. It was like she was trying to lay claim without knowing if she could lay claim, and it was just great because he just froze so many. I could
Like,
just see, like the spinning face of
yeah,
the.
he was buffering. He was buffering.
I loved it so much.
Never tell that man to say anything secret. To be fair though, there are things that he does keep. Like there's a lot of stuff that like he is quiet about and stuff like that. Like it, but I do think that he does like to swing his dick about, and I especially when like he feels threatened. He why why is he helicoptering in my brain? I don't know.
Uh,
Oh, I did
I
not
love
think
that.
this is what we'd be talking about in this live,
It's
but no.
fine. It's great.
The oil was amazing.
Yeah.
She's a little shit and I love her so much. Yeah. Yeah.
She
Okay,
wanted her man to realise. She was
so
fed up of having to wait when she knew all that macho energy was going around that house.
yeah. Also, one random thing. I love the fact that it's commented that none of them can cook, and the only thing they can cook is breakfast, but they can't even do that well.
I
Okay.
literally started laughing last night while I was lying in bed listening to that because I was like, "Oh, same, same.
um.
I can cook the things I know how to cook and that's it, but I get fed up of them really easily."
Okay. So I have some notes from previous lives.
Oh, yeah, okay. These are
Okay. So
exciting.
I have one that's character for Queen of Shadows. In Throne of Glass, we see the beginning of how Aelin is constantly thinking, constantly planning. The thoughts aren't there on the page, aren't there on the page until later on, though. Like, so, for example, you kind of you saw the beginnings of it, but like I think especially in this book where you realize how many like paths and how many like 17 steps forward she is. Like there are so many things that she has in going on in this book that we just don't fucking realize.
Uh,
Like by the
with
end when she's
the
will
As I would say, with Master of the Thingamajig. Oh,
Arabin.
there's too many A's.
Arabin.
Honestly, the A's are yeah, Arwen, I've got it on the book, but the A's are giving me jip. Like I can't
Alien
keep them all
Arabin.
straight,
Amen.
which is bugging me. Like I know that I know who the characters are. Like if you're talking about them, I know exactly which one it is, but I can't pull the right A at the
Yeah.
right time, and it's bugging me. Like
No,
Manon,
I
Damien,
understand
Roman, anytime, know exactly which one I'm on about. A's other than Aelin, obviously.
that. Plot for between Crown of Midnight and Queen of Shadows. Selena had a feeling of standing in front of a cresting wave, waiting, waiting, waiting for it to break. It could wait, and it could wait. The message could wait. The oncoming burden could wait for another moment or two of freedom. And I think like it isn't until like this book that she finally like decides that she wants to take her destiny.
Yeah,
And I feel as if like as much as like because I feel like you still have that feeling in this book of like a wave overcoming her of
yeah,
like there is so much happening and that has got to be such a heavy burden. And I feel like in that one it's like in Crown of Midnight she waits and she stops and she's like this isn't mine to take, this isn't mine to take. And I feel like in Queen of Shadows she's finally like willing to take that burden.
yeah. Aid of Fire was a lot of training, but a lot of trying to heal to figure out if she wanted to take it, if she had the ability to. And I very much think that this one, with her actually going back to where so much of her shit happened, like obviously the mines, a lot of crap happened, but like in general, most of her
Yeah.
life has been in the city, and going back and actually standing up, and her on the platform. We'll get to that later, but her on the platform is just like,
Yeah. The only other thing I have about that is like a crossover from the previous books is Assassin's Blade and Queen of Shadows, and it is I prefer Lysandra when we haven't seen who she was. It's been a while since I've read the shorts, so basically you get to see Lysandra, and good segue. You get to see Lysandra in the Assassin's Blade, and
mhm.
she's a dick. She's a horrible, horrible person. Also, Lysandra, how I'm coming in. How have you survived? Um, yeah, I can't boil it, microwave it, or bung it in the oven. Same. I'm here for the Manon chat. When we get there, because yeah. Oh, don't worry, it's getting there. It's getting there.
We will get there. I just
The
want to
amount of
say
times,
that all of the females in this book are badass.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Um,
Lysandra, this book, oh my god, she packed a punch.
she's so good.
Um, oh crap, the woman who
Lead,
got the
Altain
Caltaine. I was like the woman who got the ring. That oh
from Parrington.
yeah,
Parrington.
no, no, Caltaine.
Yeah,
Yeah, just the two of them in this book.
Yeah, we'll get to them. We'll get to them. But Lysandra. So Lysandra
Yeah,
in the Assassin's Blade is perceived
spoiled.
as a pretty spoiled bitch. And in
Yep,
this book, she comes in and she's incredible.
she's a
She's
fucking spy, man.
she's beautiful. The fact that she just my favorite bit is when she's like, "Oh, thank God I've got a friend. I can I can sit and talk about dresses and we can eat chocolate and we can talk about chocolate and no one's going to judge me." And I'm like, that is the type of friend you need in your
That's what
life.
you need.
It reminds me of Yalk when we were eating donuts. Yeah, best.
Literally sat on the floor. Was in heaven. So good.
It was great. Um, but I like it's really really interesting to go back because went back and when I was reading the Assassin's Blade, it feels weird to call it the Assassin's Blade still. But when I was rereading that, like I forgot how much I didn't like Lysandra because I'm so used to her being such a presence in the books. Um, and
I
Ev-
fucking love her now.
and Evangeline
Oh my
is
god.
the sassiest little sod ever, and I love her. She's great. The fact as well, Lysandra says, "It's such a shame we both like men because we." And then they
I
joke
love
about
that
like
she
the
made the
the
comment
time when
about she'd never been with a fey man or woman.
yeah,
Just so off comment. I was like,
and the fact that she turns around and she's like, at one point she's like, "Are you proposing?" And Ellen's like,
because there was
"No,
a
it's fine."
ring.
And then it's a ring. Are you sure you're not proposing? I
I
love
love
that.
them as a friendship. Like,
They
you
are,
know how much my heart broke with Nehemia. Like, I loved her and I will love her and I love everything that she. Don't, Becca. No, no, not yet. Hold on. Let me get this thought out because otherwise my brain is that fucked today. Um, like, Nehemia. See? Brain. Um, yeah, I loved how much she had a female friend with Nehemia, and although she had like the cooks and everybody in Air of Fire, like she never had that like strong female connection again. And the fact that she found Lysandra in a place where she didn't think she would,
and
and the fact that I think they were pitted against each other. Let's face it, they were made to make sure they didn't get on.
when Rowan is like he's just smiley and happy and he's like, I'm glad you found a female friend and it's like I'm not gonna cry. I also think it's really nice for her to have a female friend who doesn't have an agenda.
And who knows urban shit?
Yeah, and is well, not even just that, I think, because like Nehemia was a great friend, but also she was a terrible friend, let's be real. She's a phenomenal character. I love Nehemia. However, Nehemia hid a lot of shit, and that is not how you deal with friends. Whereas Lysandra is like a
Here's all
great
my cards.
yeah. And the only thing she hid was the shifter thing, and she turned around straight away and was like, "Please don't hate me for trying to hide this, but you have to see why I had to hide this."
And she was like, "Well, I hid the fact that I was Aelin, so you know."
And like, let's be real, Ellen doesn't take it well. She's like, "I need a moment to think," but as soon as she kind of gets her head around it, she's like, "Cool, we're fine."
I
And
just love that they're like, "Don't be a this. Don't be what was it? Don't be a ghost panther or a ghost
what's
leopard."
that lid?
And then she's literally that's the first form that she uses to go and kill so many people.
And
Like,
then
can
she
we
spews up,
just
and then she spews up blood.
spews up everything? Oh,
We're not going
and
to talk about
then
that too much because some people do not like that, so we're not going to talk about that too
yeah,
much.
no, no.
Um,
I was just gonna say, and then she gets the area that has the leopards in it. I'm
um,
not gonna cry. I didn't even cry at the book. Shut up. I get all
um,
emotional talking about it. This is my issue.
I I love the fact, and I do think that Evangeline had a lot to do with that. You're welcome, baby. I do think Evangeline had a lot to play in that part of explaining that Lysandra wasn't who. Um,
Oh god, yeah, she's literally. Um, I mean, I did only just finish like, but I don't cry that
yeah,
much
you
about
don't
it.
write books, but I think,
That doesn't
yeah,
mean it doesn't make me emotional. Trust me. Like there are a lot of times when I'm sitting there, especially, and I've been like driving, and I'm like, what the fuck? No, we can't cry now. We're fucking
yeah.
driving. Um, yeah, I had to pull over. I've done that before. Um, but yeah, Fleetfoot. Yeah,
This is, and I think that's the only reason that Ellen actually trusted her. I think
the
that
fact
if
that was it not
if
that she paid off her own debt and she indebted herself to save and protect Evangeline,
yeah,
whose
she was close.
cost got more and more and more because she was so
Yeah.
pretty. I was like,
Um, and let's be real, the way that she saves Evangeline. First off, Evangeline is fucking strong as a child to be like Lysander turns around and goes, "You're never gonna like. It's never gonna be the same. It's gonna hurt. I can't help that." And Evangeline's like, "No, let's do it." Like how you let's be
we're
real.
getting there.
Clarice needs to die.
Yes.
Clarice needs to die.
I'm hoping that happens in one of the other books. That's on my wish list.
Okay.
Just
I
putting it out
cannot.
there.
I can't. That's not. That's got no monetary value. I cannot
I
buy
know.
the wish list. I'm sorry.
I know. It's funny because whenever we're watching One Piece, if there's someone that I hate, I'm like, yeah, he needs to die. Zoro or Sanji needs to get on it. So this is my equivalent. But to, Rowan or Adian or Kale or anyone, there's so many fucking fighters. That's because you don't like driving, Emma. But yes, Fleetfoot and the re-meeting and Fleetfoot and um Evangeline getting on, and then Fleetfoot protecting Evangeline and reappearing at the end with her was just the cutest. And Kale being like, "I'm sorry I couldn't keep her here, but I've put her somewhere safe."
Yeah, that was his only saving grace.
Yeah,
Um,
literally, I remember having a thought, and I was like, "Okay, you get the teensiest amount of brownie points for keeping the dog safe."
yeah. I yeah. I also loved like when at the end when they're like trekking up, like going right to the end. When they're going to Terracin and it's like Fleetfoot's with them and it's like, oh, it's like sometimes Lysandra was flying with Rowan and sometimes she was a ghost leopard like hunting and then sometimes she was just being a dog with Fleetfoot. And it was like that's the vibe. That's the vibe.
I always wanted to be a shapeshifter when I was younger, and I remember now why I thought that would have been really cool.
um
I
okay,
loved
so
Lysandra. 100% redeemed for all of the shitty comments, especially knowing that she didn't actually want to say any of them. She was just trying to fucking survive.
yeah. So I have a list of thoughts. But they aren't really thoughts, but I have like a thing about characters. One second. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was vibe. It was perfection. It was
I
perfection.
just love Lysandra, to be fair. She
She's
is literally up
great.
there for me now.
She is great. She like the way she was written in this book, perfection.
I just one last thing about her before we move on, because then I will
Mhm.
hopefully have said it all. I love that when I mentioned that obviously like Aileen going up for like her speech at the end, but the fact that it was the two guys and Lysandra covered in and just walking as if they all owned the place, I was like, yes.
Grinning like manically.
Yep.
Yes.
I just I'm there. I am there for her.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so I have put characters and I have put them into three categories. So we're going to go into
Ooh.
the introductions first.
Okay.
So there's a few new characters. We've talked about Evangeline. Is there anything else we want to talk about with Evangeline?
She's adorable. Everything good needs to come her way, and the fact that she is now heiress to a ladyship. Oh,
Yes. Um,
excited bubble because I'm sure she'll be back. If she's not, then there's an issue.
yeah.
Excited.
Fair enough. Um, hello. No, you're fine. Absolutely fine. We've just been talking. Please feel free to.
Half of it's Kale, half of it's Lysandra.
And it's
Feel
been
free
a lot
to.
of me discussing about why I don't like why this is my least favorite book. I don't not like it. I just have issues. Um,
And me liking Lysandra.
Yeah, Lysandra's great. If you disagree,
Don't
you're
tell
wrong.
us.
But at the same time, like, you're not wrong. It's an opinion, but you're wrong. Um, we have an introduction to a lead. So lead has been discussed in the
Another
last
A name. I don't know if it's A when it's written.
E.
Is it E?
E.
See, in my head, it's been an A, and I'm like,
No,
there's too many of them.
it's E.
She is also amazing.
She's great.
Oh yeah,
I
I found it written down. I
I
should
think
probably open the book every now and then to find out how shit's written.
I feel as if she has such a strength, but in such a different way to all of the other female characters, and I kind of adore her for that.
Yeah, her
Um,
uncle is an absolute bastard. Just putting out there.
yeah, that's also.
That just sounds like eyelid. I'm sorry, Emma.
I understand this vibe, Sash. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I have issues with miscommunication in this book, but at the same time, there's so many things in this book where it's like the vibes of perfection, so I'm happy. But yeah, there's issues with this book that I have. But yeah, going back to a lead, I feel as if it's such an interesting take because we heard of her in the previous book, but only
Yep,
in passing, in very
yep.
very little passing, and
The
the
fact
fact
that
that,
she ended up here
yeah,
in this place,
and she's had such a shit life.
like I know that a lot of the kids in this have. Like, let's face it, like
Yeah,
Sandra, um, Aelin, like
Eddie,
neither one of them have had good childhoods. Especially not when you consider how many of them are bloody orphans.
yeah,
Like, we're just piling orphans on orphans at this point. Um, but the fact that her uncle, whose family, so you would think would protect her,
yeah,
has not protected her, has not only made her a servant, has chained her,
forced her not to be able to read.
can't read, can't write, but
Like he
makes
took
me so angry.
he took so much power from her in such with
A
such
shit way.
simple things.
Yeah.
It
He
hurts.
also took should the I know he's Lord, but should it not be Lady? Like, should she not be the one in charge instead of him because it was her
Yeah,
parents?
yeah,
And I'm like, the amount of shit that he has subjected her to is like, and how scared she is. Like, she just wants to help. Lead.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think that's the thing.
I just wish that they could help her ankle now. I don't
Yeah,
know if there's going to be a magical way to break and then reset, maybe, but I
maybe.
hope that her ankle gets something because having
Which-
been that person that broke her ankle, it's a fucking pain in the arse when it still doesn't work 15 years later. So
Oh,
I feel this. But I also don't have, mackles or mackles? Manacles around my ankles or like you know what I mean? Like the fact that she should have power, and not only should she have like political power, she should have witch power of some equivalent, I'm assuming.
yeah.
But obviously there's neither.
And to some extent because they say that there's magic in the bloodline on the human side as well. So like
Yeah.
there's clearly something.
Oh, I am so excited for her to meet because obviously she is now on her way to try get to Aelin. Like I love Manon actually for not only saving her, which we'll come back to, but for then telling her that Aelin is still alive and not holding her to them because obviously she's claimed her as a witch. She's claimed
Yeah.
it as part of her clan, but she's also gone, well, I can't go and help Aelin, but you can, and you
I
can take this. Like, it was so sneaky because technically she now has a spy right next to Aelin in case she needs it.
Yeah.
But
Um yeah.
I have so many thoughts. Like, this
Yeah.
is what happens when it's a 650-page book that is constant.
Yeah.
We're going to
Um
need to do like a live show, like a long Saturday day or something for the next double one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I think it's really interesting because I think that that Sarah J. Maas does a lot of she's really good at doing strong female characters in one way, and you expect it to be that way constantly, and it's really nice to see her be able to do a strong female character who is strong for different reasons than just strength. um but speaking of strong female characters, not just with in a quiet way, Nesrin, Nesrin Falik. I love Nesrin. She is quiet. She is. You
She's
are.
a badass.
She's a badass. Um, she's great. I think it's a
I
great
love
introduction.
our introduction to her. Like standing pretending to be a bodyguard in a place
Yeah,
where she is obviously a bodyguard. Like
I think that she's great. But also I don't think Kill deserves anyone, because I think, especially in this book, like,
oh
sorry,
Tash, I love
sorry,
you.
Lisa, you have missed me hating on Kale. I don't hate Kale as a character. I'm not a Kale hater. However, in this book, he needs to fucking sort his shit, and he is a well. I'm gonna say, I don't know if anyone sees this on TikTok, but there is a person who calls people toxic twat waffles. That is what Kale is. That is what Kale is in this book. Like, sorry, I don't care. Like, I love Kale. I love his. I've said this on multiple occasions. I'm saying this for the benefit of Lisa, because she was not here. I love Kale. He has amazing character development. He is fantastic. He's a phenomenal character. I do not like him in this book.
But it's well written because you don't like him.
Yeah, yeah. He. I'm not going back into it. As I've said, I will potentially do one day. I will do a video. I will do a video like essay on why he is a
I
dick.
genuinely would watch that. Like I would genuinely watch the shit out of that. I'm just saying. I do
Oh,
expect one for like why we love all of the female characters of the series after that though.
maybe. Um,
Vlog series for March done, or April maybe. You know, it's fine.
um, but yeah, I think Nesrin is a fantastic character, and I can't wait to see more from her. I don't think that we got enough of her in this one to kind of really get too much of a vibe from her.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask this question: what do you hope to see from her?
Well, she now is in charge of the guard, and you couldn't have female guards before. So the fact that, oh, so preface to that, I love that both of them are changing the way the courts and their kingdoms are all running already.
Yeah,
Like, I'll just put that out there. So, like, I love the fact that Dorian's like, fuck it, females saved me. Females can fucking be in the arm. Like, they can do this. Don't care. And I love that. Yeah, yeah,
also
agreed.
valid. Also valid.
And I love that Aelin was like, I don't want to only have one person take the oath. Like, if you want to take it, you can take it at any point. The guy, no, Ren,
Yeah.
almost there. Like, if he wants to take it, as you two were talking about, you can both take it. Like, I don't think that needs to be the way that, I don't think I need to run that the same way.
I
Um,
I
like,
also think it's something that was needed, and I think it's great because I think they're kind of they understand how the old way has failed them all.
as always, it's almost that generational shift where we can see the things that have happened wrong,
Yeah,
but they won't change it, and you wait till the next generation comes in and then something changes or evolves.
yeah, and I
You
think
might get
especially
that
with,
one or two people that are of that middle generation or the older generation that try but fail because not enough people support it.
yeah,
Um, and I think that is, it sounds really strange. Now bear with me, but it kind of draws a parallel to Queen Victoria because the way that
okay,
she became a monarch changed everything.
yeah,
It's the one monarch that I actually know anything about other than Henry VIII from Six and shit. But in general, because she'd been like third in line to the throne and had grown up at like Kensington Palace, she was very out of the way. She didn't, her mum and that didn't agree with like her uncle and her granda, so they literally didn't go out in public. Like she had no say and no connections, so that when she took over, she literally was like, "Hi, I'm brand new. I'm like stay-at-home mom. Like I have 9 kids." Like she had such a different perception
Yeah.
to the people before her that they literally were like, "Oh, okay, cool." And I
Yeah.
feel like Dorian's like that. Like, okay, fair enough, Dorian, maybe not so much, but obviously she's Aylin's come out of the brickwork. But like the pair of them are so different to what's come before.
Yeah.
And like her standing up and being like, "He is your king. If you have any issues, we will sort you out. Don't do it." Like just them instantly coming in and claiming it like
Yeah.
so loudly
And and
while
not
not
even
being loud.
and
Like
not even that. I think it's also just beautiful to see because like she turns around and she says, um,
you will not have slaves anymore.
no,
Sorry.
not that.
Favorite
Yes, that, but
favorite line.
my thing that I love about it is we know what she thought because like in previous books, you will always be my enemy. And he is literally her enemy, and she is like, you will not deal with this shit. We've just gone through fucking hell. I'm gonna I'm gonna like make sure that everything is good. You do not rebel against him. If you do, I'm the one you're gonna have to fucking answer to. And it's like, she didn't have to do that.
Don't
Like, don't get me wrong, yes, obviously they are friends, and it makes sense why she did, but she didn't have to do that at all. She could have just been like, you're
there's
on
your
your own.
kingdom, mate. I've killed your dad.
You-
Here you go.
uh,
Well, I didn't kill your dad, but like she's taking the blame for that, so he didn't. Which also, by the way, fucking amazing. Like, and also like the fact that she says don't keep slaves. Like if we see that, um, you have to deal with me. But the fact
Yeah,
that that happens and they actually listen while Dorian's still sleeping, amazing. The fact that when he wakes
yeah,
up by the end of the book, all of the kingdoms that his dad has taken over are free. Amazing. I'm hoping that that means that any slaves that ended up back in Calaculla in Endovir are also released, but that wasn't mentioned. But I'm assuming since
probably.
he's doing that, that would also be on the workout if they've managed to fill them, because obviously
Yeah.
everyone fucking died and we hate his dad. Um, but yeah, I have so many feelings. Like,
Yeah. So we've done intro characters. We now have re-intro characters. We've already talked about one, which was Lysandra. Um,
yes.
Arabin, he's a character we've seen before, and he came back.
Oh, I still hate
And
his smarmy get as much as I did before.
I think he's worse.
Oh, he's just
I
horrendous, Smash.
He's horrific. I don't want to talk about him too much because I will feel a bit ill. Um,
Yeah, he's not
he
good for the
got what was
digestive
coming to
system.
him.
Oh,
He got
100%.
what
And the
was coming.
fact that it was Lysandra is just beautiful. And the fact that
Um,
Aelin took the night to stand on her roof so that she had backup that people had seen her was because I didn't understand why. I was like, why are you standing out in the rain? Like, what the fuck are you doing? And then the next day when she got called in and they were like, well, we saw her. It wasn't her. I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like the fact that
was
Lysandra was like crying in a heap. And uh I totally skipped to him dying and I don't even care.
I I don't want to like because here's the thing we have discussed about the miscommunication in this book, and um we have said that like sorry
Yeah. No, no, this
we
is very much fair.
we're all thinking this.
He
We
had
we're
it
all thinking
coming.
it.
He had it
Yep.
coming.
So I think Um, oh, I had a thought. Oh, miscommunication. And we said sorry. I had a thought and I had a song in my head and then it went over. It came back. I like we talked about communication in this book and how Kale and Aelin don't talk to enough, and how they talk really badly. And I did say earlier, like him doing all of the shit behind the scenes didn't help, especially because like Aelin knew his shit. She was like, "This is what he does. He just ignore him. Just ignore him. He's not like it's not. There's no point in thinking it. He's getting the upper hand." Kale didn't fucking know that, and Kale was too fucking dumb to realize that. And I don't mean that in an awful way, but I kind of mean that in an awful way because that man is thick as shit in this book.
I also
I love
think
his growth,
not
but he
only that, but I
just
think
needs a
he is still very naive.
Yeah.
Yeah, his naivety definitely still comes into this though. Like
And like,
being from where he was and the way that he grew up, he was like, yeah, but I know that he did shit to you, but like I'm honest, so he'll be honest with me. And
and
that's
it's
not
like,
the way that Arabin works.
and it's like, it's also like the fact that like Arabin is like, oh, she's going to betray you, and it's like, she gave. I'm not going into it because this will just be Ashley's rants about fucking Kale again, and I can't be bothered with that. So Arabin is a dick.
Arabin is a dick. I'm
He does a
very
lot
happy
of
he
weird
is
shit in
dead.
this. It was very, very nice to see him in a pool of blood.
And it was very nice to see his will.
Yeah. Um, and I just want to have a little bit of a moment of silence for the fallen. Because there was a fair few characters who died in this book. We had Roland, who I don't really care about because it's Dorian's horrible cousin. But moment of silence, and it's done. We had Ren and Brullo.
Not happy.
I was driving and I cried.
Oh
Um,
no! Oh yeah, been there.
um, I mm, I do feel sorry for Kale in that moment because they were great. Um, sorry, I'm just yeah, yeah. He, she's perfection. She is
I
perfect,
loved her taking over the Assassin's Keep.
and the fact that she
That she
becomes
made them
Selena.
pay for it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Hey.
the fact that she stole and fucked up his will,
Mm-hmm.
took the asshole Cassandra? No, that doesn't sound
Clarice.
right. Clarice, sorry, I knew it was a C. My brain with names today is just shit, sorry. Took her out of the will other than the minimum, get left everything else to her, and then made the guys pay for their own building back. Oh my, it was perfection.
I
And I love
yeah.
that she was like, you said we needed money for an army. Done.
And this is the whole thing of like this is what I think it alluded to it in the first couple of books where it was like it showed her planning skills and like that, but I think this is where she like this book especially is where she shines at showing how many steps ahead she is,
Yeah.
and it's perfection. um and then the last moment of silence is for Caltain, who
Oh,
I
went
feel
down
as
in a
if
fucking blaze of glory, though.
quite literally um I
That poor woman went through fucking hell. Like, I
speaking of
remember us speaking about her being taken and having the ring put on.
mm,
Collar.
ring.
Ring. And I remember us being like, holy shit, what the fuck is parenting a way to do? Like, this is horrendous. Like, I don't like this. Like, yeah, she's been a dick, but like, what the fuck?
I
And the fact that she overrode one of the monsters and was just playing until she could do something good to help.
I I think it's one of those things of I think that Caltain's character development is one of my favorites in this entire series because she goes from the character because we talked about this in the first one where in the first one she is very much she's a spoiled merchant's daughter who wants more, and as we said, like it's a very different type of power one, and she's still a very, very powerful woman who goes after what she wants, just in a very, very different way than Selena did in the first one.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks that in this one you realize, I'm sure there was a line about how her family basically sold her to Parrington so that they could all evolve, and the way that she evolved was not what they sold on the
No,
packet, let's face it. Um but yeah, Caltaine is the way that she went down, that she was like, give me your stuff, they won't notice if I bloody myself up enough, they're not going to care, they just want the body. And then the fact that she just let rip, I was literally like, of all the
yeah,
ways to go when you know that you're that fucked, and that, as she said, she didn't think she could live without the power that she'd now been housing.
Yeah.
which is one of the worries I have for Dorian, because obviously he's had a prince and
Yeah,
he's had to
so
listen to so much more shit in his
but
head from the
but
prince.
no, because if you remember, Caltaine had a thing in her arm. Dorian didn't.
Yeah, she had one of the word keys, didn't she?
She had the word key in her arm, so that's the power she was talking about, whereas Dorian didn't have that.
And also he had a collar rather
He
than a
had a
ring.
collar, yeah. So he was I think he was more leashed than Caltaine, and also, let's be real, Caltaine was probably potentially a little bit stronger in the sense of not in the sense that it was a strong, obviously, that Volg was a Volg prince, that was just a normal Volg, but,
Yeah,
like, she still managed to overthrow it.
yeah. Her
Um,
Shadowfire was just
yeah, I think this comment says it perfectly. Also, the convo between Manon and her and that creepy grin, 100%. Goosebumps, yeah, 100%.
yeah,
But yeah, I think that
definitely
it's
a
really,
moment
really,
of silence for her.
yeah, and I also think, like, it's beautiful to see her character growth, because in the first one we did not like her, and then in this one, and obviously I had to kind of really, really keep quiet because I knew wherever it was going.
It's the same
And
as
so I remember
Lysandra
you,
though. The two of them, I
yeah,
think in both times they've shown up, I've been like, for fuck's sake. And the
yeah, and
pair
I
of
think,
them have pulled through.
but I think with Lysandra, it was very much
More
like,
so
we're never
Kendra.
gonna see this bitch again, whereas Paltane, it was very much, she was very present in the first book, and I
Yeah,
remember us being like, "We fucking hate her," and then in this one, it's very much like, "Oh, wow." Yeah, and yeah,
yeah.
um, is this gonna show? Yeah, her
I
message to
know.
Aelin was just, it shows it's nice to be kind, and yeah. So a
The fact
moment for
that
silence
that
of
is
silence.
currently like
Yeah.
definitely.
Um, I have a lot of love for Caltaine. I think she's a wonderful character, and I think that
The fact
Sarah
that
J.
she went
Maas,
through so much.
yeah, I think it
But her
just
and
it,
Manon
it
meeting as well was just
yeah, and I think Sarah J. Maas's absolute, like, beautiful characters, and she writes absolutely amazing characters, and I think this is one of the ones where it shows just how incredible she is at writing characters.
and doing the
Um,
long haul plot.
yeah,
Because I
but
don't
all
think you could do a story like this and be a pantser writer. Like I think she must plot.
yeah,
I think.
yeah. So let's go to, and I know that Emma's excited about this, and I know you'll be excited about this. Let's talk about Manon. Let's talk about the witches.
I love Manon. I hate Parrington. I feel like those statements go very, very close together. I hate the Vogue too. I hate the fact that the yellow legs, iron
Mhm.
teeth, yellow legs. Yeah, I'm like get the names right in my head because you know what I'm like. I really should have just like a glossary. That's what I need. Like the glossary that's at the back of like Priory, like just with all the names. That's what I need. Because honestly, my brain it'll be better by the end of Kingdom of Ass. It's fine. Um, yeah, like what happened that we find out happened to the yellow legs is horrendous. Like, oh yeah, they
Yeah.
just need to have like a little incision my ass. Like horrendous.
I
Um, but I love Manon and I love that she's still thinking about killing the Kraken and that she is realizing that her grandma doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. I
Like,
think, like, this is totally valid, but also I think, it kind of, I'm not playing devil's advocate here, because I do agree that I think Manon has really, really poor taste in this book, but at the same time, I think that it is very much that she has been manipulated her entire life into believing that this
oh,
is
100%.
true, and
I mean, she
it
didn't even know that her cousin had had so much
yeah.
shit, and she didn't know that other witches had died. Like, there's so much
It's
shit
not
being
even
hidden from
that.
her.
It's not even that. It is, you listen to me. You are not the matron. I am the matron. This is what you do. This is how you do it. You do not talk back to me. You do not do this. You do not do that. And she has had that so. aggressively beaten into her that she just
Literally.
shuts off because of trauma. Because trauma.
Every bitch in this book is traumatized.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100% this. 100% this.
But
And I think
also, if she shows weakness, any of the other witches could say that she is literally weak and cannot rule anymore.
and I
So,
think I think
like,
this is it's it's
when,
it's a toxic cult, is what it is.
yeah,
It's a toxic cult.
especially when they've all been told, you follow the three matrons, you do not have your own opinions, this is what you do, blah, blah, blah.
And
But
I think
as the
it's
Kraken said, it's taught, it's very much this is
do you
what they've
know
been submitted to. And they're also old as well.
do you know
It's
what
not
I would
like,
really, really like to see? Sorry, I've just interrupted
no,
you
no,
there.
go for it.
One of the things I would really, really love to see as like a continuation or a prequel or something like that. I would love to see a book about the three matrons in their prime and
Yeah.
how they came to power. Because I think that would be really, really interesting to see.
Wonder how many people they killed. I wonder if you
Well,
had
it's
to
kind
kill the
of
person that comes before you. I know that we could hear more because obviously there's
yeah,
more books and the witches will
yeah,
change and they're obviously a massive point of what's going to happen next. Like I know that I could have answers to my own questions. You don't need to
yeah.
worry about answering them. Um,
I wouldn't
but
ever either.
yeah, I know you're. I don't know how you keep such a poker face. Um, but yeah, like part of me wonders if it's like you have to literally, yes,
I
yes.
yeah,
Like
I would love
I
I
want more.
yeah, I would love to see what what the matron like Manon's grandmother was like at Manon's age. I think it
Yeah,
would be really, really interesting to see like if it's like what's the word? Like generational trauma and generational like not generational trauma, but like the continued like
yeah, no,
um
generational. I would have said that was generational.
yeah,
Yeah, where like
generational
her grandma had
yeah,
beat,
yeah, yeah.
or like the one that came before met beat
Yeah,
it into them
and
would beat it into
it's
the.
you have to kind of, like, put like, stop it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I would love to kind of see, like
I genuinely feel that's coming. Like with the 13
mhm,
basically doing something they shouldn't have, and yes, they've gone back to like cover tracks and whatever. But I feel like there is very much this internal rise of the younger witches, and I say
okay,
younger obviously with a laugh because most of them are fucking ancient, but like still like the younger ones, I feel like as
okay,
her 13 were trying to tell her, we don't agree either, and I feel like if they go, I don't know how they would go around the others without it getting back, but I feel like there's some way. Like she's
okay,
already saved some of the other witches, and
uh-huh.
also Aelin on the bridge s- saved saved Manon, and
I don't think I know this either, to be fair. Um,
the twins. There's a lot of them that called twins.
yeah,
There's two
um,
sets of twins.
yeah, valid. Um, okay, so my question now is then, Tori, what do you think's coming for the 13, and what do you think's coming for Manon? What
Other,
predictions?
other than her grandmother's wrath if she finds out that she isn't doing what she's meant to.
What else apart from
But
that?
I
'Cause
mean, let's face it, the fact that the yellow legs died and their monster babies died at least gives them a starting point of a fresh, like, they've got to replan.
mhm.
Parrington is no longer quite as strong as he was a few days ago, even if he still has witches at his disposal.
I'm sorry, I just remembered as well. We got a fucking reveal. So when the king died, we found out he's not the big bad.
Parrington's about bad.
Did you see that coming?
Yeah, because he's a fucking dick.
When
I
I
mean,
first,
I
I
remember always thinking it was him or the king, because obviously way back when with the Black Rings and Caltaine, etc. But
see,
my leading point was the fact that Caltaine was Parrington's, if that makes sense. But I didn't realize how deep it went. I will admit I thought quite a lot of it was going to be like a partnership equivalent.
I think that it was a really, really good, because in the first one, it very, very much it looked like the king was pulling the puppet strings. He was the one who said you did really well with Caltain and stuff like that, and like you played that off, but he was still ordering around the king. He was still ordering around Parrington.
Yeah.
That was a really, really good misdirect. But when I first read this, I was like, "What? Excuse you?"
Yeah. I
Like,
think the only other person I could have seen it being was Parrington.
yeah.
And I thought it was slightly. I don't think the thing that tipped me off was the fact that Parrington was at a base where the old coffin was. So like when they were down in the crypts and I'd messaged you last night and you were like, "Oh, you're at that bit." When they were translating the word marks, and they were finding out that there was this mountain and all this, and then they realized that's where Parrington was. That's what tipped me off to thinking it was Parrington. Okay, yes, the king could have done it because the king could have put his best man there, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But the fact that the king was where one of the towers was, which stopped magic, but
Mhm.
Parrington was where all of this magical power potentially lay,
Yeah.
was the thing that made me go, maybe. And then I was like, yeah, but the king is an ass. And then I was like, but Parrington is an ass, and it could be either. They could be
Yeah,
working
see,
together. Um,
my
but
my
yeah,
in my brain, I was like, you can't. And thinking back at it, actually, it makes sense to have a figurehead more than anything. But in my brain, I was like, well, you can't take the king away, especially when he's doing all of this. Like, he's changed the city so much. If the king suddenly disappears, people are gonna riot against all of the changes. Um, but actually, like thinking back at it, it's like, oh, you've got someone on the throne who looks like a bad guy, and like if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's gonna be a duck. Um, and then like it's like, oh, actually, no, he's just the person on the throne. Like he's not actually the
yeah.
one pulling the strings. Yeah.
I
Um,
really need Parrington to die next. He's on my wish list too.
so
Just a heads up.
yeah.
I
I'm
would
trying to.
like to rehear from the guys, the Luca?
Oh yeah,
No,
Luca and yeah,
the chefs and that.
yes,
Like the make sure that they're okay. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That was really interesting to as that reveal of like he went to Terrason because he heard that Aelin had the magic that could kill him, and he went and did it. And it was only because her mother intervened that he stopped, because he was like, I needed to die. It's like
But also, what would have happened if he had died? Because then would Parrington not have had more power? Like, I don't know what would have actually happened if all of those years ago, when magic was still a thing, if
I
Aelin
don't
had
think
managed to kill him. Like, I know that's not the
I
point of this, and it's like an AU
I
scenario, but
don't
like,
think that he I don't think he was thinking that far. I think he was being quite selfish in the sense that he just couldn't live anymore.
yeah, no, I mean, like, in an alternative reality, like, if she had killed him,
There'll be a fan fiction somewhere that you can't read until you've read the entire series. It'll be out there.
Becca,
Don't be looking yet.
if you found it, you can send me the link in like 4 months.
um, I don't know.
But
Like
yeah, I think in terms of Parrington, the King, and Manon,
bef- before, see, I always get confused about this because
I mean,
he,
the Volg were already here. They just got
I think,
shut out because that's how the witches came
he put
about.
the towers up to hide Dorian's bloodline. The sense that he put the towers up because of the magic, and he knew that Dorian was strong
So he
from
was
being born,
hiding,
and he was
yeah,
hiding the magic so that his son wasn't hurt.
and
Um,
used by the Volg.
yeah. So I think that it's never really said, but it's kind of perceived that Dorian is born first, and the reason that um his little brother is so evil is because he was conceived after there's the Volg in him, and so he's got some corruption in him. That's how I perceive it.
I mean, his
Um,
brother is an ass as well.
yeah, but I don't think it's. I don't think that. I'm not gonna lie. I know that Sarah J. Maas's timeline's a little bit
Squiffy.
skew-iffy. Um,
Snap.
I mean, that's good for you, but I will
You,
probably
you,
read some.
you don't you don't need to read it. You just need to find me it so that I don't have the spoilers.
I'll do it.
It's
Oh
literally
no,
I
oh no, I have
mess.
to read fan fiction about my favorite
Oh no.
series. Oh no, what?
Oh no. Yeah, anytime I have a question about One Piece, Richie has to Google it for me so that I don't get spoilers for, the other 70 odd episode manga volumes and 400 fucking episodes we've still got left. I'm like, yeah, I need an answer for this. And he's like, oh, for fuck's sake, okay. The other day it was literally I
Yeah.
just wanted to know how old the characters were in age order. And I was like, if I look that up, I will find far too much information. So find me an answer.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, I
Um.
think that Parrington and the witches, I want to say there's going to be some kind of coup. And I want to say
Okay.
that Manon is going to be at the front because obviously. Um I want to say that Manon is going to get with Dorian. That is my new ship from
Oh.
the end of this book.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I don't know if it's going to happen or not. But the fact that she managed to cut through the Volg with her eyes, like I messaged you, I think at one point, I was like, ah. But the fact that he could remember her name, even when he couldn't remember anything else, I have no idea if that's a ship that's going to sail. And if it doesn't, then I will be reading fan fiction for it because it will be out
That's
there.
fair. That's fair. I
Um,
Yeah.
100% behind Rowan and Aelin, though. Like, if anybody else tries to tell me any other ship from Air of Fire onwards, I would be arguing.
You have the correct opinion.
Yeah. Not sure
I love that.
how, like someone else had said, I'm not sure if I believe in Kaelin Nation or not, but I do think they work better than Kaelin Aelin.
I think
And if
anyone
they can have
else would.
fucking communication and, like, actually speak, then they do
So
have a better chance.
I feel like I can talk about this now.
Shock.
Yeah, I feel like I can talk about this now. I saw this on Instagram ages ago. Also, sorry, I saw this. Yeah, great.
I just love it.
100%. Someone I saw this on Instagram ages ago, and it is the different types of people that Aelin pretends to be. They fit for other people. So like Selena was for Sam. Um, I can't remember what she called herself. Lady Lillian. Lady
Lady
Lillian
Lillian.
was great for Kale because that's who he needed. And it's continuous, like the different people that she was pretending to be suited other people, and she fell in love with them pretending to be those people. But it isn't until she embraces herself that like you realize that she's not a good fit for them, and they're not a
It
good fit
was
for her.
it was when they climbed the hill and she's like, "Oh, Terracin smells like X. Oh, why didn't I realize Rowan smells like home?"
I cried.
I, d-
Like,
I, as I say, I got fucking emotional in this book. Also, actually, hold on. We have skipped one of the most important things that I want to make sure that I said. Erben is an asshole. We all know this. We have already said this. He finally told her where Sam's grave was, and she goes to Sam's grave in this book. And I have never been so close to crying in my whole read of this book so far, because she says they don't take flowers because they die, they take rocks with them to show that they have been.
hi Jan.
Aye. And honest to God, I was like,
Yeah,
they take rocks because then they stay and they know how many times they've been to visit. And the fact that on her walk she picked up multiple and then put down 3 that she liked, and then
Tori, you're
Rowan came
making my
over.
girlfriend literally cry. I've just had a picture of her actually crying. Like, we might need to Yeah. No, I totally agree. Like 100%. It is. Yeah. Um. Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
this. Sorry.
and
To
and the her saying that you always need art if you win and have your country back, I will come with you.
mhm. I have so many feelings. Like I.
Like, I love the fact that you're like, "This is my second to least book," but there's so much emotion in this book.
Oh no,
Like,
this is my least favorite book. Because it made me feel too many things. But I still, yeah.
oh, I see, I'm an emotional person, but I don't physically cry that often. Like, I have 1,001 emotions through this book and almost cried a lot of it, but actually crying. Mm,
I
sorry, guys.
It's fine. It's how you deal. But yeah, there's a lot that goes on in this book. I also I wanna kind of, because we haven't touched on it, but the plan to get Adian out, because we've talked about Adian and we've talked about how he's good. But we haven't actually talked about the fucking phenomenon that was Ailyn do like the dance and all of the smoke and the flowers and her suddenly changing, like quick changing to turn into someone who turned into one of Arabin's partners, who like to make sure that he lost money and 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 like I remember first reading this going, I don't know how they're going to get him out, and then going, what? Wait, what's going on? How is this the what? Huh? Like,
Literally, the dance teacher is phenomenal.
she's great. I love her.
Like, the fact that she literally is like telling,
It's me.
yeah, the fact that like she asked for water and then like carefully spilled water and tripped so that it would like fuck up the security so that she could get over without alerting them, and like acting like a bumbling idiot and being so
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's great.
phenomenal. Doop 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 doop
Um,
doop doop doop.
I don't know.
I just have too many thoughts. And
Yeah,
like I
yeah. I also really appreciated that. Like,
yeah,
as much as we hate Arabin for being a dick, the fact that he did turn around and say, "Yeah, they got out, and I've got confirmation that they are out." Like, hey, you did one good thing in your life. It does not take away from all of the shite you did.
we find out who his dad is. Sorry, my brain has just flipped to something completely different.
Who's dad?
Um,
What?
Adian's dad is one of
Oh,
his Karanom. Kara, that word that I can never remember. Karanom? Kara, is that the right
no,
word?
because that's Aelin. But he is part of the cadre.
Cardre. There we go. That's what I'm meaning.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought you were
and
talking
then
about Aragorn's dad. I was like,
no,
who's the fuck
sorry, my
Aragorn's
brain
dad?
just went. That's something that we haven't spoken about, and I was
Yeah.
adamant we
No.
were going to mention it.
Go for it.
And the fact that like they had so many issues being like, there's just oh my god, names and me today. I really need to fucking write a list. Um, the other guy in their cadre that was in the city that she
Logan.
made chase around.
Logan.
Yeah, thank you. The fact that A, she chased him around in the first place
Yeah.
and was an ass. And then the second that he then stayed to fight to save
When
them
he found out
because
that Adrian was his son. I'm not an emotional cow.
mm,
Yeah, we haven't talked about Logan a lot. There's a
yeah,
lot. There's a lot
there's
that
so
happens in these
much.
books.
There's so
Um,
much. And the fact it jumps from POV to POV either, your brain can't like
he's
I
a
can't put a
walking
timeline.
He's great. I love like and this I think this is what's so great about these books are the characters are just thinking, no, I'm not okay. When have I ever been okay? We know, like, you have been dealing with me a lot lately, Jem. You know how not okay I am. I am literally no, in a good way. But I am literally the My Chemical Romance song. I can promise I'm not okay. Um
I feel that right now, to be fair.
but no, I just like Loken is great, and, like, yeah, so we don't get to see a lot of him in Airfire, and we get to see him a little bit. Thank you, I appreciate it. We don't get to see a lot of it in Airfire, but, like, we see him a bit more in this, and it's like, he's a dick. He is a dick. Like, but
He's
the
also funny.
it's also the banter that just Aelin just like, Aelin should not be okay
As
with this.
sassy. She
Um,
is sassy.
I'm not okay, I think. But, I just
She likes
I
to
love
taunt him
oh, she's
100%.
great. She's great.
I love that he's also trying to find the word stones so that Maeve can't have them.
Yeah, like, I love that he's like, "I love Maeve so much that I'm not going to let her do the things that's gonna destroy her," and I'm like, "Okay, cool. That's probably not a good idea, but if you do you, mate. It's your own
Sure,
funeral."
sure, let's go that way. I also
Um
love the fact that at one point, it's one of the conversations that Rowan and Adian had, I think,
mhm,
when they were discussing like the kind of court that they would be for Aelin. And like they were obviously having the first conversation about you took the oath that I wanted to take, but she wants to have a different court, blah 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 blah.
yeah,
And he was like, we need to be together. We need to
yeah,
trust each other. We need to have each other's back as much as we have hers. We need to
and
set this in stone. And then from then on, he called him his brother, and I was like,
it's also the fact that, like, it continues throughout and, like, they are doing the Hellfire stuff and, like, Rowan's not happy with this plan at all, and he's like, "We're doing this because this is the only plan we've got." And he's literally like, he is like taking the piss with Adian a little bit, and Adian's literally like,
distracted him.
"You were really annoying me." And then he realizes, oh, he's doing this because we both need to be distracted, and like we need to make sure that we're on this. And it's like that is I love them so
I
much.
literally like I remember the instant we got the cousins together, I was like, I am loving this. And then obviously she's still in a depressed slump because Rowan's not there and she's trying to get over the fact she doesn't have magic and she's trying to like get all of her shit and her ducks in a line so that when the last thing falls and she can try save Dorian and like all of this other crap's going on and then suddenly Rowan's there and everything's better. But
Yeah,
now the assholes are being big dick energy and trying to like battle each other, even though they're completely different to her. But she's still, they need to work it out. They need to get through to go through the process. And as they slowly do, this really strong triangle emerges. But the fact that you add Lysandra into that, and I don't really know how it becomes like a triangle when there's like four, but still, I don't care. The
it turns
three
into
of,
a square, is what you're saying.
I mean, that's more like a rectangle, to be fair. It kind of needs to be more like that. But anyway, um, I was more trying
Cuboid.
to figure out
Turn into a
how
cuboid.
I was more trying to figure out how you keep one on top and three
There will be a fan fiction. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, it's not where I was going.
Uh-huh.
Um, uh, it was more the fact that there's cousins involved in there is why I wasn't going there. But anyway, um,
Yeah.
I just love them. Okay, like I will never get behind the power stance of the four of them on the scaffolding. Like and supporting Dorian, who, as we've
Yeah.
said, they don't need to. Like they have separate kingdoms. They
Yeah.
could fucking like just fuck off and leave him,
100%.
unconscious with no king and a fucking ruin. I know. I'm sure there's a different world out there. There's plenty of them, let's face it. Um, but yeah, I can't. And the fact that friendship is so prevalent through this book, like, yeah, pretty much. Although that would be more siblings, wouldn't it?
I mean, uh,
Maybe. I don't know. I only read the first one and went nope. Um,
I read like 3 more of them, and still realized that I just didn't want to do it. And yeah,
That's a song. Flip reverse it. Um,
we're going back to that weird like on
yeah,
top thing. Like,
I
let's
know. I'm
anyway.
trying to figure out what I was on about, and I don't know. I got too distracted. We were talking about predictions. We went through Manon and everything.
Uh-huh.
I think this is about being
Then
a song. Maybe? Jam?
I
Babe?
Jem, I know the answer, but are you okay?
I'm
Nonsense,
trying to
man.
think if there's anything else people-wise that we missed.
I I like, don't get me wrong, there is so much that happens in this book. Oh, it's the song.
Oh, yeah, see,
Oh,
I was right. Also, Lorcan being an ass and not killing everything that was in the tunnel. Is it Lorcan?
oh yeah, that was a dickbag move.
Yeah. Like,
Oh, sorry, not okay.
why
What a silly question.
wh- why would you not like do the thing you said you've done when oh, yeah, that was a dick move. Um and also um um Dorian waking up and not being sure if he's fit to be king.
We're gonna see.
I know. But also
But
Manon saving her will still be one of my favorite bits.
and Aelin saving Manon.
Yeah. And then
Like,
being
we haven't
asked
talked about
why
that at
and
all.
because her best friend screamed her name like I screamed yours or something like that. Should be
Uh,
something like that.
yeah. Um. Also, the fact that like Aelin, like the witches were walking away. The witches were walking away, and Aelin's like, "Yeah, you should probably walk away because I killed this really prominent like thing." And it's like, bitch, if you shut up, you wouldn't have to fight. It was great.
Um I love that I sent a picture of that to you. Hold on. Was that the bit that I sent a picture to you? No, the bit I sent a picture to you was the note, which killer the human is still inside him.
Yeah, this bit. Apart from one that's got in a bit different. Yeah,
Yeah.
can't yeah, can't see it.
Payment for a life debt. Yeah.
I need them to be friends. Yeah, Aelin's an idiot. I love her. Jem, is this still a wrong time to mention that I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, Lorcan is my second favorite character. Dude, like he's a great character. He's like he is a twat. Like he is a twat, but he's a great character. But obviously with this being obviously we're only talking about this book, and he only gets like a tiny bit of an introduction in Air of Fire, and then we get him, and he's a twat in this book. Um, he might be in books.
You know what we also haven't mentioned that made me completely freak out in actual voice notes to you? The fact that Erebin cut off a ring off a demon and put it on
Oh,
Aylin's finger, and then she acted like a puppet all the way
yeah,
home. And then
yeah,
it wasn't until they were in a room where there was no curtains and no ability for anyone else to see that she spoke. And I full on fucking had a heart attack, like to the point where I messaged Smash being like, holy shit, there's a ring on her finger. She messaged back saying what's happened or like, oh, you did that bit or something like that. And I literally heard the carriage ride as you were typing back and then literally heard her say, oh, thank fuck. So then that's what his plan was or whatever it turned out to be. I literally just voiced noted you and I was like, holy shit, like fuck, I was told like my heart was literally like, what the hell has just happened? And the
yeah,
fact that like because we knew that she'd already captured like somebody who was infected. We knew that she'd had that conversation, but we obviously didn't see the whole thing like we thought we had. And the fact that he was that willing to die, that he would lie about what hand it needed to go on. Because obviously he said if they took off the other side of the glove, he would have had a missing finger because
Yeah.
the ring, like they'd had to cut the ring off and they'd put it on the other side. And I literally had a full on fucking panic attack. I was not okay, as the
Yeah.
voice note to you said.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely a surprising part in the book.
I was not expecting it. Like I thought she had everything planned going in there. Like that
Which
was part of her plan. Like
yeah,
that was her plan, but it was just
was
I didn't know it was her plan.
yeah. Which,
Honestly.
let's be real, that is what Sarah J. Maas does a lot. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't have any more notes.
I don't think I had anything else I wanted to freak out about.
We've actually been quite chilled out in this one.
I think under 2 hours is good for us.
Yeah. Um, what are your predictions for the next book then? What are you what do you
Actually,
hope?
can I ask a question if it's not a spoiler? I don't think it
You
will
can
be.
certainly try.
Whose POV is the second book from? Because I know that there's two books that go together, because obviously a tandem,
So
but I
Empire
don't know who's actual, like if it's split or if there's multiple people in each book.
so Empire of Storms is staying on the continent that we are in.
Okay.
And Tower of Dawn is following Kale as he goes to um potentially get healed.
Okay. I just
Because
wasn't
obviously,
sure. I was like, actually, I have no fucking idea how this splits. I just know,
because obviously he got badly injured.
yeah, he is paralyzed
Yeah. So
currently.
one of the things that he needs to do is he needs to go and
Yeah,
get
well, he was like, I'm not going anywhere. And Dorian was like, yeah, you fucking are. You need to get your shit together because you're now my second in command. So go on, toddle off.
yeah.
I do
So
quite like him. I think him, Nezrin, and Kale will be quite a good level-headed little like triangle. Because I know the other one's obviously four, but like I feel like Nezrin and Kale with
uh
Dorian, like they'll both support him because they have literally been supporting him the whole time.
yeah.
Um, but I'm
So
assuming because Nezrin's now in charge of the guard that she'll be more with Dorian when we see her rather than Kale.
was she
Assuming.
I'm pretty sure they say in this one that
Oh
she
no,
is
she's going because she's from the southern continent
yeah,
already.
she's going to the southern continent with
So I
him.
say, did it not say that? Oh, I'm not gonna know which chapter it was. Hold on, that's Minan. Kale, here we go. Oh no, that
Do
was
it if you want to do it. We are going to be talking about Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn. But if you wanna reread your favorite book, fucking do it. Like I am
yeah.
not going to be the one who turns around and says, don't do it. Like it's healers. Do it.
Do it. There's also a reread a book prompt for series TBR. Just saying, in case anyone needed to know that. Yeah, here we go. Sorry, I had to go and find the bit.
Yeah, I was about to say
And since you're now Lord Kale Westfall, the King's Hand, I need someone to fill the position. New traditions for a new reign. Fortunately, you already have a knowledgeable guide. And then he was gone. I love that he was like, turns out I wound up breaking my promise to you after all, since I can't technically walk out. No,
yeah,
no,
never
no.
join us.
Yes.
Um
It's not like you can reread manga. Excuse you, you have enough of that. You need something to fill the prompt.
anyway, so what do we think's gonna come from what are your predictions? Any predict if you have any.
So, which coup with Manon at the head? Also, can we just say that when they were going into the clearing, I know this is like detuding, that they literally made a comment about um her wyvern literally smelling the flowers, and it amused me greatly that it was like Aelin or Kale or one of the guys like commenting on it, being like,
Mhm.
eh, like love that. So yeah, so there's going to be a coup there. And hopefully Barrington's going to die, but I have a horrible feeling because he's the baddie, he's not going to die till book 7,
Right.
or like the last book, because otherwise there wouldn't be an end battle, unfortunately. I have a feeling that I don't know what's going to happen in the Southern Continent. I have no ability to figure out Kale's book, so I'm not going to go there because I don't know. Um, we're going to see Terracin. I don't know if we're going to see other cousins maybe show up. I don't know what other family she's got, because obviously we know Maeve's out of the picture.
I don't
Um,
think he really has any other
I don't
cousins.
think she does. I can't remember anyone being
I rem
mentioned other than them.
because
But I
I know that they said that, Adian and Ren were the ones who thought they were gonna be doing the bond,
yeah,
um, like and
I
if she had other cousins, they would most likely have them take the bond instead. It'd be
yeah,
fighting between Adian and other cousins.
I think so, yeah. I think a lead will make it to her and will obviously pass on the bit of the cloak and the word stone. And I think she will get training with someone. There's obviously going to be a bunch of them that can wield magic, but it would be really interesting to find out what kind of magic she's got.
Mhm.
Same way her uncle is interested, but I want her to find out, not to be tested
Yeah.
on. I'm hoping that the Vulg have enough of a backlash that they won't be able to instantly start recreating more. They're calling themselves witches, but it's not witches that they're breeding. We are aware of this. Um, and I'm hoping that Manon manages to do whatever I hope she does before that happens, and nobody else gets hurt. I think that's wishful thinking because shit happens in this world, but I
Yeah.
can hope. Um, hopefully Dorian gets some of his confidence back and gets his castle set up. He needs to get some people that fucking protect him and support him, because obviously his right hand and his king of the guard have both just gone walkabout. So I'm hoping he gets other people, because obviously Aelin has also gone. There's no Assassin's Guild now. There's no
Well,
the
technically there is.
well, there is.
Yeah.
It's not under Arabin, so hopefully it will be better. Um, there's no slaves, and hopefully that helps the city. But obviously, we didn't really see that in the city as much. Um, also, we didn't mention the fact that she burnt down. Not she. They closed the building and burnt it down.
Which building? There's many buildings.
Um, the marketplace.
Oh, Shadow Market.
Yeah, which always confused me because of Cassie Clare having a shadow market. But yeah, they closed the doors and burnt that down.
No, was
And
it
I
Shadow
like,
Market? Might have been something else. Um,
no, I think it was.
yeah, I
I'm
thought it
pretty sure
was.
it was called the same. Um,
Yeah,
so there'll probably
sorry,
be a
because
new
that was
market
under
sprouting up.
because that was literally, like, underground, I don't think of it as a building, so, like, I was very,
Yeah,
very confused when you said about that.
it was just because they closed the doors on the way out and stuck everyone. Um, but yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen now that they're back in Tarrison. I'm hoping she will also get a court together, same as what Dorian will. I really want her cousin to get to take his oath,
Mm,
because I'd like them both to be on even footing as much as they can be.
mhm.
They obviously want to start training soldiers and setting up like what their kingdom's going to be like, and I think that'll be really interesting to see if we see any of it before the fighting, obviously. Ow, I just hit my mic. I don't know. There's so much that could happen, and I haven't seen anything coming that's come so far. I don't think.
That's fair.
Maybe some of it, but not well.
Okay. We happy to leave it there?
Yeah, I'd love to say, what about you? But it doesn't work for any of you guys. So,
Yeah, I know
as
what's coming.
always,
And I will not tell you anything because
no.
no.
I'm really sad that I don't have the next books on my TBR for this month.
To be fair, it's probably a good thing though, because obviously if it was on your TBR, and we're not gonna be talking about it until until like March.
Yeah. No, they're definitely staying on next month's TBR. It's just sad that
Yeah,
I
valid.
can't pick it up. But I have another read along book to read.
Nice.
So We'll just leave
Anyway, um, thank you all for
it.
joining
I
us.
just want to hug them all.
That's very valid. Thank you all for joining us. Um, yeah, I mean, very, very valid.
Yeah,
It's
I
been
mean,
fun.
I'm struggling with specifics, and that's with me reading it properly.
um, the motivation was that you weren't on Tower of Dawn, and we weren't going to be reading your favorite book. And now that you've popped in and heard us talk about it, then you've gone, oh, it's my favorite, and now you're like, oh,
I mean, you could
selfish.
just reread the one gem. It's fine.
Do it, do it. Yep, do that, please.
That's fair.
We're not. Yeah, we are not expecting anyone to tandem if they don't want to do it. That is totally valid. That's totally understandable.
As I say, I may start and then drop out. Who knows?
Yeah, I really want to try it because I think it's going to be really, really interesting. But I also have ADHD and I am stressed. So will I actually do it? Probably not.
I feel like
Um,
I will attempt it and have like my phone here and this on the other one, and will go with all intentions to go for a few chapters and go for 2 chapters, and something will happen, and I'll read more of a chunk of one of the two,
yeah,
and then I will just be like, oh fuck it, I'll just finish one and then finish the other. Like I know something's gonna happen. I'm gonna try, but I
yeah,
don't. Yeah, I love that the three of us are all the same. We're just like, yeah.
yeah. Um, I love that also Becca's the only one who's like, I'm not doing this because no.
I love
Um,
you. I love Becca for knowing that. I'm gonna
yeah,
try. I do not
I
think I will actively manage, but the challenge is fun.
I just want to I want to try it to see if it adds to anything. And if it doesn't, then I will know.
And you'll never have to do it again on any future rereads.
But if it does, then I'm going to be
And it'll
fucked
be
because every time.
tabbed.
Yeah, but then I'm going to be fucked because every time that I want to reread it, I'm going to have to do it the tandem way, which is also going to stress me out every time I read it. Or I could just ignore. No, no, I won't say
You
that.
could just
Anyway,
skip it. Or just read your alien chapters. Mark them with a different tab.
that's very, 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 very valid. Do I'm not, the
Do
pillow's over
what
there.
makes you happy.
Do what you love. Like, got whatever's best for you. Like we've always said it. Like,
Yep. We
absolutely,
will be here with both discussions in early March, regardless. You
yeah,
just need to read both of them at some point in the next 2 months.
yeah.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
god, that's terrifying.
we're almost finished the series, dude.
I'm
We've
not
almost
ready. I don't think I'm ready for the next 3 books, man.
I'm not even gonna. I'm not even gonna lie. Like there is, like, because let's be real. We know, no matter what I say, we know that war's coming.
Oh god, yeah. Everything is
Mhm.
gearing up to war.
Yeah. So like,
Harrington is an ass too much.
yeah.
He's already told Manon to start training.
And what I will also say is the fact that this book is so jam packed, and this isn't the last book. We still have 3 more to go. You know that there's going to be. It's going to be a time to be had.
Yep. Yeah.
We love you, Tori. Thank you for joining me on
I'm
this.
quite surprised actually that none of you want to do like an all day backyard sprint with me just while I watch it. I'm surprised that didn't come, to be fair.
Maybe in
I'm s-
Kingdom Clash. Maybe in Kingdom of Ice.
well, I just do a 48-hour readathon over a weekend and just
There,
binge it.
there might be times where I'm like, where are you up to? What you doing? Um, there maybe all 3 of these books. I'm not gonna lie. There's certain things I would love to
Yeah,
see them all do.
I'm
There's certain, like, I'm not like I I think you've got your wish. Um,
I I will also say that my birthday's round about when we will have the live show for Kingdom of Ash.
I also like there's certain point, like I can't say anything because it would be spoilers, but there were certain points in in
All
certain
of them.
books. In some of these books, one in particular I'm not going to talk about, where I would love to see your reaction,
Yeah.
but I
Well,
don't want to talk about it because that
I
would be spoiling.
may try and I've got a long weekend off in February for work, and it's in the middle of series TBR, and I was considering messaging Becca to see if she wanted to do some form of live weekend thing, and
When
I
would it
may.
be? What weekend? Because she's at mine 2 weekends.
It's right in the middle.
She's probably at mine.
16th to the 19th, I
She's
want
at
to
mine.
say. Oh,
She's at mine.
I mean, I could
She's
just literally do it me, and you could just have me on, like, watch it back.
Yeah, I only know that because we're at a concert the weekend before, and she's at mine
I'm
for,
sh
like, almost 2 weeks.
I mean, amazing. I'm sure it's that weekend. I can double check dates. Yeah, it's definitely in there, I'm pretty sure.
I am not mad. I am
No,
not
I
mad.
wouldn't be mad either, and I'm also not mad at the fact that you're saying no to doing a weekend thing. It's all good.
I'm excited. Anyway, we have gone off topic, and I am going to wrap this up because,
But we did
we
hit 2 hours because of going off topic, which is very
we
satisfying.
did. Um, but yeah, thank you all for coming. I love talking about these books, and I love that everyone comes and joins. Um, and yeah, thank you for all of this, and we will talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.